Welcome to the policy process. I'm excited to be teaching this class and hope you all enjoy taking it as much as I expect to enjoy teaching it. So I thought we'd start with just a quick introduction. Professionally, I am a data scientist. I started out doing data science and civic data analysis for an organization called the Greater Louisville Project, which did data analysis in Louisville, Kentucky. I currently live and work in Louisville. So I then became a data scientist and later a data science manager at Brown-Forman, which is the company that owns Jack Daniels and Woodford Reserve. And right now I'm a data scientist at Meta, working on cross-meta integrity, which means I work across both Facebook and Instagram. I work in measurement of how much harmful content is on the site and how effectively our integrity teams are removing harmful content. My educational background, I was a philosophy major at Center, and I got an MPP and PhD in policy from the University of Kentucky through the Martin School, which is how I come to be back here teaching this class. This is my third time teaching this course. The last time was 2 years ago, and it turns out that's enough time to no longer be in the IT and HR systems at UK. So apologies for any inconveniences while I'm working on getting full access to Canvas, and we're running this course through email. Okay, so onto the syllabus and what we're going to cover this semester. So we just can't cover everything about public policy and the policy process in one introductory class. So we're going to focus on 5 areas, and we'll actually spend most of our time on the first 4 here. The first is evidence, and we're going to read the book Calling Bullshit. I really like this book, particularly because its focus is less on how to do complicated research and evidence. If you want to go that route and study statistics and econometrics and all of that, that's great. They're really good things to know. But the thing I really want everyone to come away from this class with the ability to do is to recognize when someone is using numbers to bullshit you. There is a lot of it in the world. You should be able to call it out and realize that this is not actually solid evidence that is being presented in this policy discussion or in any other discussion in life for that matter. The second thing we're going to talk about is polarization, and here we'll use the book Breaking the Two-Party Doom Loop. Note that this is not a criticism of political parties. In fact, the author speaks quite favorably of political parties as necessary institutions for democracy to work. It is, however, a critique of the current electoral system that really pushes us towards only 2 parties being viable. So it suggests that the solution and the way we get a third party is not just by running a third party in our current electoral system, but actually changing the way that our electoral system works in a way that makes third and fourth and possibly fifth parties into viable options that can be elected and form governing coalitions, and that this would really tamp down on polarization. It's an interesting book. Looking forward to talking about it with you all. Race is always a huge part of policy in the U.S., both historically as well as through today. You can see, the impacts and trace them throughout history. And some of what's provided in the Sum of Us is sort of that history that talks about, the role that race played in everything from interstates to public swimming pools to the social welfare state to environment and environmental policy. But it also talks about, what we can do today and how this should inform our views on policy. This was actually students' favorite book the last time I taught the class. It's a really great read. And then finally, we're going to talk about class, and specifically we'll talk about poverty and the way in which that shapes policy and has been shaped by public policy. This is a really recent book, came out just this summer. It does a really good job at looking at poverty not just in isolation, but how it relates to the rest of our economic and political systems. And then we'll also talk about the more classic political science theories of the policy process that try to sort of put the pieces together and say how all of these individual pieces that go into making policy work together to form concrete policy outputs. Okay, so some important notices from the syllabus. First off, assignments are due on the week listed. They're due on Friday at 5 p.m. That's because making assignments due on Saturday at midnight feels, cruel, to be blunt. So we're going to go with Friday at 5 p.m. so that you do not have to worry about these assignments and can go and enjoy your weekend once Friday at 5 hits and the assignments are in. This class is entirely asynchronous, so the expectation is just that you'll be on the same week with your classmates so that you're able to participate in the discussions. 2.5 hour lectures in Zoom are just not an effective way to learn things. And we are going to intentionally trade away like time spent in lecture. The videos are not going to be 2.5 hours of material for time spent reading and writing. So the focus here really is on reading the books, and I realize there's quite a lot of reading assigned in this class, and on writing and discussing them with your classmates. Those discussions are going to happen via chat on Slack, which will be covered in the email that I sent out along with this video that has an invite link. I find that Slack leads to more informal discussions than if we tried to have the chat through Canvas. Okay, 4 books are required for the class. I've already talked about them. And there's also going to be short videos posted to both Canvas once I have access, and also uploaded to YouTube. I want to note these videos aren't going to be summaries of the reading. These are all, very interesting books, but of course they don't cover the full breadth of things we want to know about, say, evidence or polarization. So I'm going to add in additional related background from material that, was not assigned as reading for this class, but are still things that it would be good for you to know coming out of this course. Assignments. Class participation is 15% of the grade. Papers for each of the first 4 sections are 15% each, so 60% total. After we finish each book, you'll write a short paper relating to the book to a policy area of your choice. By policy area, I mean something like environmental policy, immigration policy, tax policy, etc. Hopefully choose a narrower area, like I talked about, something relatively broad, but you should try to focus on like a specific policy change or a specific part of the policy within each of those areas, because otherwise your paper will be a bit broader than is ideal for this sort of class. And then at the end, we're going to revise and put all of those together into a final paper, which should be a nice way to look at a policy and how that policy has been influenced and shaped really by things like evidence, polarization, race, and class. So that's it. Please feel free to reach out with any comments or questions through email or Slack, and I look forward to going through this class with you this semester. Thanks.